spending over $2,000 per week on rubber bands just to store his money, owning 32 yachts, 142 planes, and 140 bungalows. Pablo Escobar had established the Great Medellin Cartel and ruled the drug world. In this episode, we shall unleash the truths of the life of one of the most notorious drug lords in history, Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria. Born on December 1st, 1949, in Rio Negro, Colombia, Pablo Escobar's journey from rags to riches is a story with a criminal twist. But how did the son of a farmer become one of the richest men on the planet? Ambition played a major role in his rise to power. From a young age, he wanted to be big. He even aspired to be the president of Colombia. Initially, he channeled his ambition into studying political science at La Universidad de Antioquia. But when he ran out of money, he had to drop out. Some say this was a pivotal moment in his life. His criminal career began soon after. He started as a small-time criminal, stealing cars and, reportedly, even tombstones. But Escobar didn't stay small-time for long. He moved on to smuggling cigarettes and marijuana. This ambition to rise in the criminal world revealed another key trait: ruthlessness. More money came in when he added kidnapping and killing to his list of crimes. But he wanted more. In the 1970s, Escobar saw an opportunity in the growing cocaine market in the United States. He decided to seize this opportunity and dominate the illegal but profitable industry. What he was getting himself into was big. In 1975, he allegedly ordered the murder of a fellow cocaine trafficker named Fabio Restrepo and took over his operation. Escobar wasn't alone. He teamed up with a diverse group, including a pig farmer turned hitman and a marijuana trafficker. Together, they formed the infamous Medellin Cartel. How mind-boggling is it to imagine dumping millions of dollars of black money in the walls and ceilings of a mansion? Under Escobar's leadership, the cartel expanded and improved their cocaine smuggling methods. They used their own planes, including small ones that could fly below radar and large planes for bigger loads. They even parachuted cocaine to speedboats in international waters and smuggled it within legitimate shipments like cocoa, wine, and blue jeans. Escobar even acquired 2 remote-controlled mini-submarines from the Russian Navy. The exponentially growing wealth was stored in the ceilings and walls of Pablo's favorite mansion, La Manuela Hacienda in Guatapé, Colombia. At the peak of his career in the 1980s, Escobar was transporting about 15 tons of cocaine daily, earning $420 million a week. His wealth was immense. He supposedly bought a Learjet just to move his money around and lived in a lavish mansion with a private zoo, soccer arena, and bull ring. But he didn't stop winning people over just because he got into the dirty game. He funded community projects, built churches, sports facilities, and housing for the poor. He even constructed a whole neighborhood called Barrio Pablo Escobar, which still exists today. Some people saw him as a hero. Do you think his generosity made him a hero? But his acts of kindness were a strategic move. Escobar knew he'd be safer if the common people loved him. Despite his public image, his personal conduct was far from admirable. He continued to use violence and ruthlessness to maintain his power. Escobar dealt with his enemies and problematic people with his infamous plata o plomo policy, silver or lead. If bribery didn't work, he resorted to murder. The death toll from this policy was staggering. Escobar was responsible for the deaths of at least 40 judges, 200 court officials, 1,000 policemen, and 3,500 civilians. Some estimates put the total as high as 60,000. Is there any justification for such violence? For a while, Escobar seemed untouchable. His plata o plomo policy kept him out of jail because many were willing to take his bribes. When he was arrested in 1991, he made a deal with the Colombian government to avoid extradition to the US. He was imprisoned in a luxurious prison of his own making, called La Catedral. But La Catedral was more like a resort than a prison. Escobar continued running his drug empire from there. However, his downfall began when he had two of his own cartel members tortured and killed at La Catedral. This blatant disregard for the law turned public opinion and the Colombian government against him. The government planned to transfer him to a regular prison, but Escobar fled. For 16 months, he evaded capture, but a special squad of US-trained Colombian soldiers called the Search Block and a group of his enemies known as Los Pepes were hot on his trail. Finally, they located him through a traced phone call in December 1993. The government was now fully determined to end Escobar's reign of terror. Question is, was his death as legendary as his life? It is widely reported that Escobar died in a shootout with the police. However, some, including his own family, believe he committed suicide to avoid extradition to the US. One of his mottos was, "Better a tomb in Colombia than a prison cell in the United States." He was killed in a shootout with the Colombian National Police in his hometown of Medellin. After a lengthy manhunt involving Colombian authorities, the United States Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, and a vigilante group known as Los Pepes, Escobar was finally located. The details of his death are somewhat disputed, but the official account states that Escobar was cornered on the roof of a middle-class house. During the confrontation, he was shot multiple times. The fatal shot was reported to be through his ear, leading to speculation that it might have been a self-inflicted gunshot, though this has never been conclusively proven. His death marked the end of a violent era in Colombia and the downfall of the Medellin cartel, which he had led. In the aftermath, Colombia began to see changes in its legal and political landscape, trying to recover from the deep scars left by Escobar's reign. His life and death continue to influence Colombia's society and politics, leaving a legacy that is both infamous and enduring. What do you think? Did he die in a shootout or commit suicide? So, do you admire Escobar's success despite his crimes? Or do you believe he was a criminal who got what he deserved? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.